joined by head coach Sean Miller. We'll start with questions. Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star, you're first.
Coach, what made you want to decide to shake up the starting lineup tonight?
I would say coming off of the mountain trip, Justin, defense is really at the priority for us, trying to improve it. And, I thought Kerr, with his energy and his ability to take charges and take pride in that area, why not give him an opportunity here early on? That's not really to the detriment of Terrell. It's just every once in a while, I think when you have a team like ours, to shake up the lineup keeps everybody on their toes. And I think, backs up, me and our staff really just trying to become a more united, just altogether better defensive group. But that was the reason why, as you know, by the minutes that were given, Terrell did a really good job. He played 29 minutes and Kerr played almost 20. So I'm glad we have Kerr. And but I thought Terrell Brown did a really good job tonight. He made some key plays. He had 7 defensive rebounds, which is certainly not easy for a guard, but we needed every one of those tonight.
Does the circumstances of the season, does that play into a decision like this? Because it's kind of unusual for you to make a change in the starting lineup in the month of February like this.
No, you're right about it's unusual for me. But this is a different team. No, it has nothing to do with, our end point this year. It has a lot to do with just we have so many new faces, there are times when you looked out there tonight and you have Kerr, Ben, Dalen, and Azulis in the game. Those are 4 freshmen. And I know we've played quite a few freshmen over the years, but, the other guys, it's not like they've been 3-year starters on the court with them. So I think just because of that, it's kind of like a puzzle, trying to keep our energy up, trying to keep us hungry, playing hard, playing maybe our best here in the month of February. That's our task. So we're really trying everything to get there.
Thank you.
Troy Hutchison, you're next. Troy.
You mentioned the energy level, Coach. How would you assess the energy from the start of this game all the way to the end?
We were ready to play. Oregon State, you have to give them a lot of credit. They are a very hard-playing physical group. Wayne Tinkle and his staff, they just do a great job of making the game hard and physical. When you think of those 2 words, rebounding, right? They're offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, physical close to the basket. And you have to play through it. You have to play through that contact. You can't get frustrated. And in reality, you have to be able to get to the free throw line and convert. And, tonight we certainly got there. There are times when we've converted, maybe not as well as we would have liked, but, you shoot 34 free throws. Tonight we earned our way there. And for the first time in a while, especially in the second half, we played much better defense without fouling. And I think our playing man-to-man, playing our defense without fouling and, them fouling us was really the big difference in the game. And it wasn't always pretty. I told our guys in the locker room, there were some plays tonight that you put in that category of just things you don't oftentimes see in sports. And we might have had 4 or 5 of those in one game. Taking the ball out of bounds and throwing it to the other team, letting them score, having a steal in our hands, literally 2 points waiting, and somehow it bounced off our hands to them and they scored it. And it just seemed like, there's just so many types of plays that disarmed us from really having a better overall night. We missed maybe 5 layups, not inside shots, not contested. Layups. And, when you do that, it doesn't feel good. But to our team's credit, we kept playing, played all the way to the end and finished. But again, I give Wayne Tinkle and his staff a lot of credit. They play the game very, very hard. They play to win. And if you followed them, there's a reason they're in every game. And there's a reason they've had a really good stretch of wins here over the last month. They're a tough team to play against.
And then you mentioned rebounding. You had 5 players with 7 or more rebounds, 47 rebounds altogether, and 17 second chance points. How much of a factor is that, having that many second chance opportunities?
Well, it's so important because that's part of our team's identity. That's one of our strengths. And playing Oregon State, especially, you have to rebound like that. And we did it twice. We did a really good job in Corvallis rebounding against them, and we did it here tonight. We got in foul trouble. You know, Azuolas only played 20 minutes. We missed him out there. But in those 20 minutes, he had 10 rebounds, which I think is a real testament to him. 5 of those were on the offensive end.
Ryan Calapier, you're next.
So Ben made 3 more threes tonight. He's close to 50% on the season. Of all the shooters that you've had, where would you rank him, and what makes him such a special shooter?
Well, Ben has the gift of size when he shoots. He's 6'5", and he has a really compact shot. In other words, it doesn't take a lot of time for him to catch and shoot. And he just seems to take good ones. And, you know, a good shot for him, he really can see over the defense. Like a lot of really good shooters, and you guys have seen quite a few over the decades here at Arizona. You know, the ones that seem to be in their own category, they just can kind of rise over the defense and shoot it. You know, I know Salim Stoudemire, maybe he wasn't like that because he's not as tall, but I think Salim had that range and that quick release that almost allowed him to get it off. Ben's size and compact shooting really allows him to get it off. And the other part I'll tell you about Ben, he doesn't take bad shots. And, you know, so much of a shooting percentage is taking good shots. And we have to do a good job of finding him, because when we do, he knocks them in.
How much better do you think he's gotten since the start of the season, or since when he got on campus?
He's our team's most improved player. You know, in those first weeks, you know, he's just a young guy, just figuring out where he was on the court. And he's much more sure of himself. And, you know, Dalen Terry and Ben, they don't miss practice. They show up, they work hard, they're eager to learn. A lot of times those guys are in the gym early in the morning shooting. They really work at it. And that's really to their advantage. I thought Dalen had some really good moments in tonight's game. You know, he had 8 rebounds in a very physical game. I wish he would have shot the ball from the right corner. You know, he had it, and for whatever reason, he passed it up, and he ended up getting a turnover. But I thought he got to the rim a couple of times off the dribble, and you know, we want him to play with confidence. He's been a big part of really every game we've played, and down the stretch of his freshman year, you know, I hope he can really put it together.
Steve Rivera.
Yeah, Sean, you must be impressed at how your team closed out in the final minutes, offensively and defensively.
Yeah, you know, Oregon State loves to finish games with a 1-3-1. They use that as their comeback game. They've had great success over the years doing it. We prepare for it. Maybe at the very beginning, a couple possessions there late, we weren't in the right place. You know, it's different, and we didn't maybe attack it like we needed to. But once we got through those first couple of possessions, our guards did a good job. We found Ben a couple times. He had a great baseline drive. He had a 3-pointer. And we found Christian, I think, right in the front of the rim for a dunk. So it was good to see us handle that.
And Azuolas has become more aggressive. Maybe I'm missing something. He wasn't as aggressive before, but he is now. Almost his dunks are more forceful. He's just more aggressive around the rim. True?
Yeah, for sure. He's adjusted to the physicality and speed of the game. And, you know, again, looking at where he started in October or early November, he's really gained a lot of great experience, and he's worked hard, and he's I think one of the best freshmen in our league. You know, I think we have 2 or 3 of those guys, and Kerr and Dalen are very good freshmen as well. You know, Azuolas turned the ball over. So did James. You know, those guys had 9 of our 13. You know, you don't want either of those guys to have 4 or 5 turnovers in a game. But again, I want to credit Oregon State they're not an easy team to play against. They really muddy the game up, and I mean that in a complimentary way. They play hard. Alatishe is a really unique player. He leads our league in offensive rebounding, and he's about as quick of a jumper as I've seen. Just very, very unique. He had a good game tonight, 10 points and 6 rebounds. And, Ethan Thompson, Ben was 13 years old when Ethan Thompson went to Oregon State. Ethan Thompson's been around. He's played in a lot of Pac-12 games. And here in February of his senior year, he's having an outstanding season. And, again, you have a 6'6" point guard who's a 4-year starter. It's not always an easy task. And James Akinjo really met the challenge midway through the second half of defending him. And although James isn't as big, I thought his defense on Ethan for a stretch of the second half really changed the game.
Bruce Pasco. Bruce?
I just want to double check with Terrell. You put him in the first half. You put him in almost right away after less than a couple minutes on this. Was there anything disciplinary about the reason to not start him, or was it strictly what you were talking about before?
No. Okay,
just want to make sure. The other thing is, and you alluded to the physical nature of the game, and how do you explain the you guys have been good at this all year, but how do you explain the free throw differential tonight and the way you guys were able to be so much more careful and pick up the fouls you did?
We got the ball close to the basket constantly. We got it there offensive rebounding. We got it there on our transition game off of Oregon State's missed shots or turnovers. We got the ball, to the rim on set plays, drives, post-ups, and they fouled us. We're a physical team. We shoot more free throws, I think, than everybody in the Pac-12 and maybe everybody in college basketball. If you think about that, if there's 350 plus teams in the country and we shoot the most free throws, I think we're doing something right there on offense, and got to convert them though. We left some points on the court tonight, missing front ends of a 1-and-1, not shooting the percentage we're capable of. If we would have done that, we would have had a bigger margin of victory.
Do you feel like that's something that's kind of developed with this team? I remember, in December, early January, you were complaining, at least, picking up, some of the fouls that you weren't getting, that the other team was getting. Just as far as knowing how to play and things like that kind of evolved with this team?
Well, what I referred to in December was we had quite a few offensive fouls, which, also are turnovers. We had, almost 2 or 3 screens on offense. Sometimes it was on the ball. Sometimes it was off the ball where we got called for an illegal screen. That's not only a personal foul, but that's a turnover. Driving, leaving our feet off one leg. And college basketball, I'm not complaining, but, the block charge is a big part of college basketball. And, this year we're not as adept at taking the charge. Teams like to take the charge on us. I think we had 2 or 3 of them tonight where, they called us on the offensive foul. So I was referring to that. Not complaining about the officiating as much as, us adjusting. And if you've watched us, we don't turn the ball over or get called for those offensive fouls as much as we once did. And that helps us. But, we did a good job of not fouling them tonight. We did, especially in the second half. And that's a big reason we won.
And finally, would you mind updating on Ira? How's he doing? And could you use him Saturday if you need to?
I don't know. He hurt his ankle in yesterday's practice. And, Ira's a pretty tough kid. He couldn't really do much on it today. So, twofold. A, making sure that we rested him so he can recover. And if there is a chance that he would be available on Saturday, not doing anything today maybe gives him that chance. But I don't know his status yet.
Okay. Thanks.
And we'll end with Paul Cicala, KVOA. Paul?
Hey, Coach Miller, congratulations on University of Arizona career victory 299. What's it mean for you to be approaching that 300 win plateau, and what will it mean for you to win your 300th game with the University of Arizona?
Well, thank you. Obviously, who knows when that comes or if that comes, right? You got to get it. But thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize that. I mean, every coach is only as good as the staffs that he's had and the players, the teams. And we've had quite a few really, really good players and teams and coaches that have helped along. If I'm being candid, I wish we'd have won more.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, everybody.